Hey, Coach, first day, what do you feel like was accomplished?
It was a good day. Just trying to get a kind of some of our basic principles defensively, most importantly, defensive mindset. Offensively, some of our spacing, and just trying to continue to work and improve there. So, just the basic fundamental stuff.
How do you kind of approach this? Is this like a situation where it's like, all right, this is the start of the second team, third team, here we go, or is it let's just get everyone back on the court and kind of ease our way into this?
There's guys that are returning that are familiar with what we've been doing. A handful of them for multiple years, and so it's good to kind of have those guys to demonstrate and teach, and if it's a first team to some degree, and then each group can kind of follow. And so I think there is kind of a natural a first group, second group, third group, and that type of stuff. But it's more probably based on familiarity than anything.
Last year, you guys were working on a new offense to start camp and kind of going through some of that. I don't know if you're doing any of that and making full kind of sweeping changes, but if you're not doing that, what is it like to maybe just be teaching more principles and keeping things a little bit simpler?
Yeah, no, I think there was a pretty significant change, last year, and I think I would describe it as just more subtle, a lot the same, and but I think just always trying to figure out how we can space the court the best, how we can give our players the most space and the most opportunity. So trying to learn from last year, make more kind of subtle, smaller changes, hopefully that makes sense and help us. So I think in that way it's good to kind of fall back into something that they're for the most part familiar with.
In general, this compressed off season, having such a short time, what impact do you think that might have on some of the early season games starting out? Do you expect any difference or anything like that?
No, it's a little bit unprecedented, some teams had probably just the perfect amount of off season and are ready to go, and those that played longer in the playoffs are maybe going to feel it and feel like it's more compressed, but I don't know that that's always a negative. Hopefully we can make it a positive, and our guys are in a good place and ready to go.
Aside from Dante, was everybody able to participate in 5-on-5 and in practice in that way?
No.
Was everyone able to participate outside of any protocols or things of that nature, like more physical decision as opposed to?
Yeah, no, there's no protocol situations of that sort. Yeah.
Who was not able to participate?
Giannis did not practice today.
Yesterday, I asked him about the knee a little bit, and I'm curious for you, just from like a management perspective, how you try to go about that, because obviously we know how Giannis is and how he wants to be on the floor.
Yeah, no, he's such a worker and a guy that always wants to be there for his teammates and be on the court, and so fortunately, I think most importantly, Giannis understands his body, better than any of us, and the relationship with the sports performance staff is strong, and the trust is strong, and you add me into the mix and just figure out the best way to I think help him just work through anything he's got going on with his body, and have him healthy and ready to go as much and as often as possible.
Sorry. Grayson had mentioned that when he kind of got here and got with you guys, like the terminology is the exact same for him. So what is specifically for him? What does that maybe do for him coming in new? But also then how did you kind of view him as an acquisition and maybe what you saw a little today?
Yeah, I think the first part of the question, anything time you're thinking less, then it usually frees you up to actually play basketball, the reason why you're here. And so, philosophically as a coach, the more we can free him up to play is something that I think we just believe in general. So Grayson might be a little step ahead of, anybody else that's, brand new terminology-wise, principle-wise, philosophy-wise. So, I think the sooner you can get to that place where you're just playing and you're not thinking, and maybe he's, half a step or a full step closer to that. So that's a good thing. And then just seeing Grayson play in Memphis and Obviously, you guys know I think the world of Taylor and, you know, the coaching and the attention to detail and, you know, a lot of just kind of core principles and beliefs that are similar to us that to see Grayson really thrive for a lot of the season and have success, you feel like you can then bring him to our group and you know, maybe he can do some similar things or maybe even be better with our players and how we do things.
Yesterday, Pat kind of corrected me when I asked, like, how do you replace PJ Tucker? And he's like, that's not something we're interested in doing. Like, we have different players that have different skills, and we're going to prioritize those things. How do you kind of view that idea of, like, you have PJ Tucker, you no longer have PJ Tucker, but he did bring certain things to you guys last season?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think there's always a respect for what PJ brought to the game, and you know, I just, you know, particularly on the defensive end of the court. But every year, you know, you have to now figure out the players that we have. We're excited. You know, we feel like our depth is significant and is real. And when you talk about, you know, Rodney Hood and Grayson Allen and Shimmy Ojale and George Hill returning, and there's a lot of players that we think are going to, you know, be really good for us. And, you know, you just need good basketball players. And you take those skills and you apply them the best you can and put the best team you can together. And, you know, I feel like John's done that again this summer.
I know sometimes when guys that know you come around again, it can be a little annoying for you because they know you so well. How's George and getting to see him again and having him back on the court?
Yeah, nothing annoying about having George back. So it's just, you know, he is someone that, you know, when he came the first time, even though, you know, he and I hadn't been together since other teams, now to just be back together again is so great. And I know how much we appreciate George, and, you know, I appreciate George, and I think he's excited to be back here too. Just the comfort with his teammates, the comfort with how we play, the city. You know, I just think it's, you know, I'm sure he may get annoying at some point, but not yet.
Bobby said that, you know, starting today, he's like, I didn't feel like that you guys took it easy on them or whatever. It was just 5-on-5. Was today kind of important to put a baseline out there for sports performance, for you guys just visually watching them play, and then it's sort of, as you manage it's going forward, right? Like, was today kind of important to just have them all out there and do it all, and then?
Well, I you know, the way I would probably phrase it is, you know, I think we probably did a little more 5-on-5, and even some 4-on-4 stuff that's competitive and playing basketball, and a little less drill work than maybe you do in a normal first practice historically. And I think that it's, to some degree, we've got to expose them to 5-on-5. We've got to expose them to 4-on-4. We've got to expose them to competitive stuff in a smart, hopefully a little bit shorter time frame. And then, you know, find our times to drill, find our times to teach, you know, get kind of into some of those detail things. But we got to build up the 5-on-5 conditioning, the running, the up and down, and then we'll find our times to do the drill work that coaches tend to like a little more than the players do. All right, thank you guys.